Hi, and welcome everybody. This is Jack Miller with T360 here with Dean Cottrill on another month's topic on talking about brokerage, teams, growth, excitement, how to build something bigger than yourself. And we're going to have a really fun conversation today. So as a reminder, for those of you that are new to us, we do this every month and we have conversations with actual brokers and teams that are building something bigger. Most of them have been participants in one of our programs and have worked with us on a consulting basis or have been in the T3 Fellows program. And so that's a little bit of context for those of you new to us. For those of you that are here again, coming back, welcome. It's great to see some familiar names and faces coming back into our sessions that we do every month. So welcome back. Love having you here today. So today we have a conversation we're going to have about brand and using it as a way to kind of build connection and to create momentum within your company. And I'm really delighted to introduce Laura Kimble, who is with Graham Real Estate. And Laura is based, well, why don't you tell us where you're based? Because it's kind of fun. I don't want to steal any of your thunder. You're in a really, really interesting place. And I think that's a story in and of itself. But tell us a little bit about your company and your brand. And then Dean and I are going to just ask you a bunch of questions. We're going to have a great time.
Okay, cool. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm so happy to be here. So I'm actually in Nassau in the Bahamas. So I'm not sure if people know the islands of the Bahamas, but there's quite a lot. And I'm right in the capital. And it's a great place to be, of course. And actually, a lot of people are finding that, with sort of transitioning with COVID, so many people are moving here. Real estate is hot. It's exciting. The company that I've worked with since 2007 is Graham Real Estate. It was formed in 94, and we're a really small boutique company. It's very family owned, and we'll talk obviously about the archetype and how it all fits in so well. But we're really small with 12 agents and then 3 new apprentices coming in.
And the apprentice is always an interesting thing for those in the United States and even Canada. Give them a sense of the licensing process, if you can, like in a 1-minute synopsis, because it's just unique. I think people would be interested in hearing it.
Yeah, so it's completely, when we're working through the whole fellows program and Dean was like, courses and getting people in, I'm like, Dean, it's so restricted here. It's all controlled by our real estate association. And there's about 2 courses per year with 30 spots in each. So I hold spots. I just had 3 apprentices and they all passed. I created a training program during COVID. Anyways, it's really very different from the States to getting licensed here.
That's really different. That's
how much, Jack?
Yeah,
60 people a year.
That's that. Talk about some competitive pressure on recruitment.
Yeah.
You're having to hold spots so that people can get their license. That's wild. That's really wild. Well, you joined us a little over a year ago in our fellows program, and I just was curious what caused you to join the program, and then we're going to dive into one of the modules, which you said was your favorite one of the exercises. So talk to us a little bit. Yeah, talk to us a little bit about how you decided to get in and kind of what your experience was at that point.
So I went to Inman for the first time, it was at January 2020 when the first cases of COVID were coming into New York. And my goal was how do I figure out how to run a company? Because, I've been a sales agent. I really wanted to I'm in a unique situation here. It's kind of hard to explain, but I really wanted to understand how to make our company amazing. So I saw T360 on the list and I was like, I just need a strategic plan. And Dean's like, you should join us with the whole program. Oh, that seems like a lot. But honestly, it was the best decision I could have ever made. It's hands down. I can't even explain.
Yeah. So talk to us a little bit about, we have one of the modules we cover, which is our module where we really work with brokers to think about what makes them different and unique, and what's their voice, what's the way they show up to their recruits, how do they show up. So talk to us a little bit about that, your experience with doing work on brand.
So yeah, the brand archetype, every module was so valuable, but I would say this was the most this one helped me really understand. And what I said to Jack and Dean was it just made everything click for me. Like all of a sudden, like, you know, being a sales agent, not knowing how to run a company, you know, not having that experience, obviously I have business background, but just all of a sudden I was like, I get it. Like, I understand our voice. I have so much more confidence in our company and who we are. And like Jack says, like, you know, a lot of times people are looking for, like, they're looking at their competitors, trying to copy whatnot. And this, like the work in this module just really helped me to understand everything about who we are. And I just have so much more confidence making decisions.
Are there, and I know, Dean, you feel free to jump in with questions. I just have lots of questions. Were there any specific things that like you went through the archetype for your company and like talk to us about that, about what archetype you ended up and how it made a difference in your business?
So the quiz that, you know, when we did the module with you guys, and then you gave us the link for the quiz. And of course, so the way our company is, it's myself, the owner, and Sophia. And she runs the property management section of everything. So it's the three of us work really closely running the company. And I had all of us do the quiz. Mm-hmm. And it was so great because you get a result when you do the quiz for archetypes. And we all had the caregiver and girl guy next door were in our top. And so it was very like, I mean, that was my top two. So Graham Real Estate is definitely the guy girl next door with the caregiver. And, you know, and that, like, when you look at all the little stuff, it's on the like structure, it's the stability, control, belonging.
Yeah. So this is the archetype map. So you guys were like right over here.
Yeah, exactly.
In that section. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it was so funny because right before, I feel like this is like an interesting story, how it like all comes together. Well, we were signed up for a little walk that we wanted to do again, which totally fits with our archetype, because we want to be involved in the community and everything. And we were going to sign up as a company. We wanted to do some shirts and like, oh, let's put a slogan on the back. And actually I'm wearing it right now. It's like, together we can do so much. And it was like, we had and I was like, this is just so fits. And when we were talking about the slogan and we had to do the assignment, I'm like, it was just amazing how it all came together. So.
Really, this is something, Laura, you were so awesome and you continue to be awesome, of course, but through this exercise and through fellows, you jumped into each module and you really dove into this work and got so much out of it. And it's great to have you on this call. And when you did the brand exercise, like you said, it all clicked. It's you know, maybe if you can express also maybe some to everyone who's watching this, it seems like also there's a higher level of clarity instead of, like you said, looking at other competing companies or worrying about what the next ad's going to look like or how we're going to position this. You're more in sync with who you are, what you're about, your organization. And so you're more concise about who you are and that sort of value proposition, expressing that to somebody who might be wanting to join you, somebody who's with you, might, you know, want to retain them. Is that a sense that you've got and actually a benefit through this as well?
1,000%. Yeah. I mean, you know, just, of course, all of our work, even starting the recruiting program, which I was so intimidated to do before T360 Fellows. And then I'd done a sort of my first apprentices. And again, not even like having that gut feeling that two of the people weren't really right, but I'm like, okay, I'll go through it. To then the second time around, just like knowing that who wasn't right, you know, and just knowing who's going to fit in our team. And like, that's a huge part of it. I got all of our people, like all of our new apprentices, as soon as I interviewed them, I had them do the archetype quiz. So I got where they were coming from and where it's okay. Like one of our agents, like definitely isn't but he still fits. But then I feel like there's certain other characters that, like, you know, the traits that they're probably more suited for like a more like fancy real estate company. I don't know, so to speak, you know, like, you know, so it's like, I have a lot more clarity on recruiting, just everything.
Yeah. That's interesting to hear you say that you're using it in recruitment to kind of understand where their personality is and are they going to click with the brand itself. Because it doesn't, you know, one of the things we've said is you have to have everybody be on the same, you know, be in the same profile. But if people understand the bigger brand and they value it for what it is and say, yeah, I want to be part of that, then you're going to have people that will stick around and they'll understand the things the company does. They're like, yeah, I'm on board with that. If this is and given it sounds like you guys do community oriented things, you do service work and that kind of stuff, that all would fit with that kind of a person. They'd understand it and value it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like the disc in a way too. It's getting a sense of their internal drives, right? And what's, what makes them up. And then it's the way you can coach, how you approach them, how you can support them, gives you some insight into that. So that's a very good use of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think people really value being understood. And so that's one of the things I've loved about the disc, is that when you take the time and doing something like this, when you take a time to kind of try to understand the recruit better, then they feel valued for who they are. And if they feel valued for who they are, they're going to be more likely to join and more likely to stay. So I think that's really clever. I had not heard of anybody using it in the recruitment, but that's very good. I like it. So
yeah, me too. So let's dive into the keynote, because there's a couple things in here for others that are watching. We'll be able to share with everybody.
Absolutely. Let me pull up. I'll pull it up right now. So
and if anybody has any questions while we're going through it, just put it in the chat.
Feel free to jump in. Yeah. So this is the fifth step that we do in the program. And in this step, we work with brokers and teams to get clear about who they are and what they stand for. It shows up in a lot of different ways. Like Laura was just talking about, it can help you make decisions about like, what's our message. You can decide like, oh, we just, like that doesn't fit with our brand, so we're not going to do it. Or like, oh, well, if we're going to focus in this area, these are the kinds of things that an everyman brand would do, or these are the kinds of things like, our brand T360 is a hero brand. So we take on, like really tough jobs and tough, like you have to be strong and skillful in order to do them. And so there's things that the hero brand does that's just a little different than other brands. So it helps you connect with it and helps you do the things that you need to do with your messaging, with your marketing, with your service design, all of that. So we do use this fundamental concept of the Union Archetype. And this comes from, there's a great book called The Hero and the Outlaw, which is about the use of Union Archetypes in marketing. And that's a recommended read we have for everybody that we work with. Dean, do you want to talk to us a little bit about the archetypes? Give us some color from your perspective as you've actually run brokerages and have some concepts here.
Well, you actually want to take what you said earlier about, people like to be understood. And it's actually a great way to kind of figure out yourself too, like what makes you tick? What are you looking at? What's the lens that you look through? Yep. And then when you actually layer on top of organizations that you guys are very familiar with in business, not just in real estate, but in business in general, and where do they fall? And how do they very succinctly market themselves in a very concise way that allows them to actually be top of mind for you? So I love this whole exercise, because when you go through here and you see like Magician and you think about Apple Computer, or you think about Disney, right, who fall in the Magician category here. That's something you can start contemplating in your mind. Okay, I get that. I understand the way when you open up packaging at Apple, how they position like everything from their products and services to the experience in that realm, and they stay consistent. Sage is the Wall Street Journal, as an example, right? So the Wall Street Journal providing knowledge, information. The Ruler is going to be the Mercedes-Benz. It's going to be the Bentleys. It's going to be the high-end consumer focused companies that are going to position themselves. Now, the Ruler is not going to jump around and be the Magician and the next day be the Sage. All right, they're successful because they've been able to pin themselves in an area and be able to market themselves consistently. And probably the better way to say that would be the Jester over here, which you see so many in insurance companies, right? So every insurance company seems like they put themselves in the Jester brand. You got Geico, you got all these other ones doing these funny commercials. I guess insurance is just too serious, so people like to laugh and make it funny, right? Yeah. And so the idea of a Ruler is not going to jump around and be a Jester. And to Laura's point earlier, through this exercise, you'll get a better sense of, and you'll be able to position your organization and say, okay, knowing the whole rainbow here of the 12 archetypes, who do we want to be? All right. Who do we want to be and how do we want to position ourselves? I get a sense of where we are or who we are. All right. Let's make sure that we're communicating this out in the form of our marketing pieces, our office, the communications I do internally and to our agents. Are we staying consistent on the brand? Are we jumping around? And like Jack said earlier, what you find is that consistent marketing, that consistent going out with who we are and talking consistently in that way. Some people might not be, for example, they might not be a jester, but they get it. They might like being around it. They see the benefits of it. They might be a magician themselves or sage. So if your agents, and this is a great exercise to do with your agents, and we'll have to ask Laura in this exercise, but when you do it with your agents and they come back and I'm a creator, I'm a ruler, I'm an explorer, things like that, and then they can have their own identity underneath your identity as an organization. They don't have to be lockstep with you guys. And that'll create some clarity for them as individual entrepreneurs and allowing them to grow their business. So it's a good way as a leader to help educate and help support your agents.
Yeah, we had a question come in from one of our attendees that said, and I have my own answer to it, but I'll throw it over to Laura first because she may have a perspective on it. Is did you find, or does knowing that you guys are the caregiver of the everyman, has it gotten to your specific language you use in any of your advertising or any of your marketing, or has it shown up in language in any way?
Yeah, I would say, again, just the confidence of having that more casual girl guy next door, just owning that. Even like just doing like amateur videos. Before I would be so worried and I would want to do perfect videos. And now I'm like, it's totally fine just to do a basic one. And I did the course from, this whole thing.
The whole archetype study.
Yeah, I did it. And they give you, it helps a little bit because it gives a whole list of words and everything that work with your archetype. So I found that like a nice little resource just to do as an extra thing.
It also gives colors too, Laura, doesn't it?
Sorry?
Colors.
It also,
yes.
like
colors, yeah.
A lot of in-depth information.
Yeah, there's a lot of in-depth. I mean, it's really good.
Yeah, and you can tell the consistency of different colors with some of these archetypes. Like I think the ruler brands, if you look at all the kind of high-end brands, there's a lot of black. There's a lot of, it has a real look to it. So all the high-end brands are sometimes high contrast black and white, or the mixed gold in, or they do stuff like that. Whereas, you look at the jester brands, and I think of like M&M, and jester brands tend to be really colorful, like a jester, so they pull in a lot of color. So it kind of triggers people's subconscious about the kind of company that you are. When they see you use like a fun, more casual font and a color that's more associated with leisure, then they subconsciously, they kind of understand your company. And whether that's as a recruit or as a consumer, it kind of triggers them subconsciously. So so, and then our commenter said, hey, that's helpful for brokerages as well as agents. And absolutely, it should be helpful across the board. So,
well, this is actually a good topic to go maybe a little deeper on, because one of the things I could think, if I'm in the audience and if I position myself as a jester or a girl guy next door, a caregiver, everyman, do I miss out on people, or am I missing something?
Yeah.
How are your feelings on that, Laura, and that conversation, or if someone's got that going on in their mind?
I would say not at all. I think you're missing out if you don't own who you are and know who you are. And I feel like we certainly were before. Like I just, out of fear, I just wouldn't make a decision. Like now, I just feel like I have the ability just to make a decision so much easier and just get something out rather than humming and hawing and agonizing over it. So
I think it's really easy in this industry to look at what other people are doing and think that what you do has to be as good as or the same or something like that. Because I think it's like a background in this industry. So you go like, oh, well, that company, like if my videos aren't like theirs, then I'm, like you feel like you have to be as good as or the same. And I think when you know yourself, you're like, no, we're going to do it our way. And our way is like this. And we're in an age and a time when people really crave authenticity, and it's about that, like, we are who we are. And because of that builds trust, because they're like, oh, okay, I understand you are. And it shows up in all of your marketing, including the language you use, including the colors, including the kinds of things you do. So, that's I think that authenticity piece allows you to be a better version of yourself, where you're like, okay, we know what we're about, and that's what people value. They want to know what you're about. So,
well put. Very
good
well
stuff.
put.
Cool. So I will cap this off with just a little discussion of those of you that have been coming on these regularly. Know that this is part of a program that we run a couple times a year. It's an invite-only program. We supply each one of these modules we do. We supply a ton of activities and materials. In this example, we give an archetype worksheet that people go through. We have you go through all your materials and make sure your materials match your archetype, and work with the way your brand should be expressing itself. Again, this is another area where if you're in brokerage, we inherit a lot of marketing materials from the software that we buy and the tools we use or the MLS. We get all this stuff, and it ends up being a whole lot of things that don't maybe fit who we are as a company. And so this exercise helps you identify who you are as a company and what you're about, and then to kind of sort through that and say, we're going to refine our listing presentation materials, or maybe our website, maybe all the marketing stuff that we supply to our agents, and have things that look coherent and that match who we are, whether that's your whatever kind of brand type you are. So that's a really useful process. So I'll talk a little bit about the program. Those of you that are new to us for the first time, we created a program called T3 Fellows. It's in its 7th year now. I think we just started enrolling for, what is it, class 11, Dean? Is that right? I think we're in the 11th class.
Yeah, we 11 just started up.
Yeah. So the mission of this program is to produce leaders who can fulfill their vision for their company. So what we noticed is, in the landscape of education and consulting, there was a whole lot for sales and for agents on sales, but there wasn't a lot for business leaders that were building an enterprise or a business or a brokerage or a large sales team. And so we built a whole program to address that. The way it works is we meet monthly. We go through, there's 10 core modules in the program that we take everybody through. The brand module and the brand archetype is one of the core modules. So we do a live presentation, go through the module. We give you all the materials. You work with it individually, and we work with you. We work with you in both a group and a one-on-one setting through most of the modules, where you get some focus and attention from our team to get that done. Sometimes you come back and present it to the group, depending on which module it is. Sometimes you work with it one-on-one with us, just depending on the nature of that module. We do some individual consulting in the first few months to help you get up and running and really help you understand your business. We're now moving back. I'm excited. I think we've just now confirmed our live retreats, which will be the week of November 8th. And so we're now going to be moving back. So anybody that is enrolling now, you're in the program in November. I think and Dean, you don't even know this. I just got off with Shannon 30 minutes to 45 minutes ago and just said, these are the dates that we want to do. So we're now going to move back to in person, because we think by that time, everybody's going to be cool to travel. And it just looks very positive. The other thing we haven't talked about is T360 is a whole team. We're about 24, 25 people. And we have experts in broker and agent technology. We have experts in hiring, executive recruiting. We've got experts in both brand and marketing work. We've got experts in merger acquisition. So we have people within the T360 family that do this work with our clients. And this is really your on-ramp. And we are in this program that if you have questions about, hey, I'm thinking about acquiring a team or another company, or I'm looking to be acquired, what do I need to do to be set up for that? Then that's part of the program as well. So you get access to other T360 team members that will help you along your journey. We do ask people to go into the program that they're growth committed. We're not looking, these classes are usually, 8 to maybe as many as 12 or 13 companies at a time. Small group, a lot of focus, a lot of help. You get to know your peers. I know, Laura, you worked with a lot of other brokers in the program and people in the program. So we're looking for companies that really want to grow and that are committed to it. And this is not sales coaching. If you need sales coaching, we got lots of people we can refer to for that. This is an industry full of sales coaching. This is really about the things you need to do to build the business. So that's going to be recruiting, marketing, putting in systems and processes, doing things that are going to be moving the whole thing forward as a whole. We do have pretty great results. We had, obviously, Laura was here today talking a little bit about how this has helped her business, but we've worked with some very large companies. This is Paul Barron, who runs the largest Century 21 franchise in Canada. And he was with us, and he actually he had 13, 14 offices, and he used it to work with his managers and working with his business. He doubled his growth rate, moved from a $3 billion to a $4.2 billion sales company, real big company. This is, 700-800 agents now. So increased his agent count. This is another different company, Matt Curtis Real Estate in Huntsville, Alabama. He started with us when he was running a large sales team that had converted into a brokerage. And he 5X'd his transaction count, went from 209 transactions the year before he went in the program to the year after he completed the program. He did over 1,000 transactions and added about 30 agents to his company. Really impressive. And again, this is hard work that the entrepreneur does. We're just here to help. We're here to provide some structure. We're here to be a support system. We're here to be a sounding board. We're here to be part of your executive team and help you think about your business. You still will do the work, and Matt deserves all the credit. These are incredible results. Love talking about Dava Davin, Portside Real Estate Group. She did great work with us and moved her business from 128 million in 2016 to 425 million in 2019. So over 3 years, nearly tripled her business. I think she's above 600 million, Dean, if I remember correctly.
635. Yeah. She's
going 635
for
for her 2020 numbers. So we need to update this slide because we just got her 2020 numbers confirmed.
Same with Matt, because Matt's doubled his 7-figure profit in 2020.
Yeah, really impressive, both of these entrepreneurs. So part of what we're looking for is we're looking for other people that want to be part of a group of entrepreneurs, go through a structured program, learn a lot from the program itself, and also from each other. And so that's who we're looking for in the program. Love that. I see we got a few questions that came in. How do I sign up? Is coaching available? Go Class 11, says Catherine Deegan. So great. Thanks, Catherine, for all the support. That's awesome. Yeah. So next steps. So if this sounds like something you would like to potentially consider, then the first step is to go and fill out an application. Just go to t3fellows.com. There's a big button on the homepage. Click on it. Fill out the application. We will review it. This is not, again, it's a small group program. So we're looking for people that are really ready and committed and want to do it. We don't need 100 people in this thing. We're looking for, we get 8 to 12 entrepreneurs that want to go make it happen for themselves. That's who this is for. And the first step, fill out an application, tell us about your business. We'll review it. And then Dean will get on a call with you and go through your numbers, go through your business with you. And if we think that the program is a good fit, we'll extend an invitation for you to join it. If we think there's something else that'll help you more right now, we'll recommend that and say, look, right now, this program's maybe not the best program for you. Here's some other things that you should do to either get ready for the program or that we just think are going to be better for you. So it's a very straightforward, it's I call it a no sales process, because it's, if this program will help you, then we'll tell you. And if you want this kind of help, then we're here to do that. So that's what that's for. We ask for a personal commitment to be in the program for a year, because it takes, Laura, you did how much work in this program? Like, could you have done that any faster?
I have so much work still to do.
Right. Yeah.
So strategic intent plan is very long.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's big. And when you have a big goal, then it is big work. So we ask for a year. We say, give us a year to work with your business and work with your team, work with your executive management leadership. And then you'll see big results if you do it. If you're doing the work and you're putting it in, then it's going to happen. This is a process. This is like a process that normally would take an entrepreneur 3 to 5 years to do. We compress it into about a year. So it's a lot.
And some actually, like Laura, and Tom's on there, Tom McCormick, and he just sent out a message, and I keep coming back for more. It was this comment, because after the fellows program and having us as part of your leadership, your executive leadership team, like we like to say, most of our fellows move into our program called alumni. So we continue to work with them and support them in their business. Laura's made that decision and continues to work with us. Same with Tom and others, frankly, that were on the call too earlier. So, which we love. We enjoy helping and helping people grow.
Okay, so I got one last question for Laura, and then we'll wrap up. So we'll keep this to about a half hour. So Laura, if we've got somebody who's on the fence today, who's thinking about whether or not they would want to do T3 Fellows or not, what would you tell them? What would be your coaching to them?
I mean, 100%. Honestly, it was the best decision I could have made. I say it all the time to everybody. You know,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just do it. We look forward to hearing from, those of you that have been back. Welcome back. It's great to see you again. We've got some supporters and fans in the group. Those of you that are new to us or just learning about us, go fill out an application. Help us get to know your business. And if we think we can really help move the needle for you, we'll tell you, and then extend you an invitation in. So I think any other closing words, Dean, anything else for us as we wrap up?
Yeah, Jerry just came back. So on the t3fellows.com website.
Yeah, why don't I go there? Let me go there.
Yeah, we'll just show, because Jerry's asked a question on that. Layout, and Jerry and everybody else who has questions, additional questions, fill out the application. It'll come over to me, and then I reach out to you and we schedule a one-on-one. And part of that conversation, it's a 45-minute. My calendar invite, I'll recommend you do the 45-minute time slot. And we'll dive in and talk about your company, talk about your organization, talk about your challenges, your biggest issues and challenges you have and you face. And then so you'll get something out of the call no matter what happens, whether you move forward into the program or not. Here's the page right there. Apply now is right there. You can also apply at the top. You can see applies at the top next to frequently asked questions as well. So we've got it a couple places.
Yeah. So just head over there, and that's where you do it. The application is confidential. The conversation is confidential. This is just where, we just want to help you get what you need. You go here, you fill it out. It's not a ton it's just some basic information about your business, and what you're working on. So go through, complete it, and we'll get back to you.
Show them also, Jack, show them the videos too on the fellows page. If you want to get some additional insight from others who are participants who've gone through the program, you'll see at the very bottom, we kind of lay out all the modules right there. And then we literally have built-in videos here of people, of broker owners, growth-minded broker owners, and large team leaders that have gone through the program. And they'll tell you their personal experiences right there as well. Yeah,
so there's good stuff. Yeah, and if you want to go through the modules, these are the modules that we train on in the program, and that you'll get materials for, as well as all the stuff that we do at the retreats. So, so great. Those of you there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks everybody for coming. Laura, thank you so much for sharing your story today. It means a lot. It helps other people see their story as a possibility. So, so thank you for giving everybody a little push today. It means a lot.
Thank you for having me on.
Awesome. All right. Thanks everybody. We'll see you guys next month.
See everybody. Reach out if I can help. Take care.